My name is Ellis Disch. I'm with Disch Car Sales in Franklin, Connecticut, right on Route 32 between Norwich and Willimantic. My family's been in the car business since 1980, so it's 41 years. My father started in Moosup, Connecticut, a Chevrolet dealership. They quickly expanded into several different brands for many years. And then about 2014 or so, we decided to move to Franklin and get into more of the pre-owned market. And so that's where we've been since then. Yeah, it's been great. We have a service and repair facility as well as sales. That's what we do over there.
Awesome. So what would you recommend for some of these high school students who might be looking to buy their first car?
Okay, so as everybody's probably aware, there's lots of stories about, buying cars and the market and things to look out for and that type of thing. What I always recommend is the best thing in any transaction is to try to get a referral if you can. Talk to somebody that has done business with somebody else, or ask around. If you're going to buy private sale, do a little background research to figure out who you're working with. Because vehicles break, obviously, so even in the best transaction, sometimes you can get a vehicle that needs some work, but you want to know that kind of going into it. You want to have all your information before you end up making the purchase. So there's kind of two scenarios. Some younger people buy their first car from a dealership, usually with help of parents or grandparents or aunt, uncle, that type of thing. And a lot of times they'll buy it, what we call a street buy, which means, they'll find a car online, Facebook Marketplace, maybe, a couple of years ago, Craigslist was like the big thing. Or even somebody in your neighborhood that you just see a car on the side of the road with a for sale sign and you go to buy it. So a couple of things that you want to look out for. I'm a big proponent of a Carfax, especially if you're going to buy it private. The benefit of the Carfax is that by running the VIN number, you can get a lot of information on that vehicle. You can get where it's been, if there's repair history as far as, good maintenance, like oil changes and that type of thing, where it's been maintained. But the main thing is you can check for title history, make sure it's got a good title. A big red flag to watch out for if you're buying something private is that the car has a good title. And the reason you want a car with a good title is that affects its market value for when maybe you go to sell it, or just overall reliability. You just want to make sure that it's a good car with a good title. So I would say main thing is try to find out who you're working with, do a Carfax, and take your time. Don't rush into something. If you find something that you think you really like, don't rush into it. Make sure that you're making a good decision, because for most people, other than buying a house, at some point, buying a car is the second largest purchase that you're going to make in your life. So that's what I would say if you're a first-time buyer.
That's super true. So what would you recommend if they're going to buy a car, say like they were to come see you, what would they need as far as credit, or would they need a cosigner?
Okay, so here's where it gets a little tricky for a dealer. Dealers don't make the credit decisions, the banks do. So basically what the dealer does is we offer product, and then we work with the banks. So we either work with a credit union or a local bank, or even your bank, if you want to tell them what you want to buy, which is called the collateral. And then the bank gets an application, we call it a credit application, obviously, and they sort of evaluate the whole situation. They look at you, your background, how much money you're going to put down on the vehicle, especially what you're trying to buy, to make sure that the value is in line. Because the worst thing for a bank is to say loan $10,000 on a car that's worth $2,000, right? They don't want to be in that position. So they always figure out a way to be in a good spot. So, frankly, when you're younger, it's harder because you don't have an established history. So probably the best thing to do is, if possible, if you have a cosigner that has some credit history, or you're going to need some significant cash down, because the bank is taking the risk, the financial risk on your behalf. They want to be in a strong position, which makes sense. The other thing is you obviously have to be 18 years or older to buy your own car, because under 18, you can't contract. So if you're younger than 18, let's say you're a junior in high school and you're like, I'm getting my first car, I'm going to go buy it. And you go to a dealership, you're 17, you're all by yourself. If you're at a place that's reputable, they're not going to sell you a car because they're not supposed to. It's not illegal to sell it to somebody under 18. You can do that, but the dealer can't hold the teenager to the contract because you're not old enough. The law doesn't recognize you as being old enough to contract. So if you go to a reputable place, they're going to require somebody that's over 18 to co-sign for you and go on the registration. The other thing you need to think about is insurance. Insurance can be quite expensive. So, and that has a lot to do with the car you're buying. So when you think you figure out what you want to get, you really need to start shopping around and figuring out how much the insurance is going to cost you. Because a lot of times I see when people finance a vehicle, you know, parents will come in and co-sign for the kid and everything's going great. They love the price. They love the car. The payment is great. And then they go to get insurance and they, holy smokes, the insurance is more than the car payment. And that's not what they're expecting. So you just got to be real careful about insurance. And the other thing, of course, is fuel. You got to buy gas to get someplace. So you got to take all of your sort of budget into account when you're deciding what car you want to get.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a lot of good advice. So thank you for talking with me today.
Absolutely. You're very welcome and good luck to everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.